Alrighty. So let's talk about the Suicide Squad. So I recently saw it last night. Um, HBO has a lot of faith in this show because they released this on HBO Max around kind of like around 7, 8 ish, not 10 ish. I'm on the East Coast, so you kind of like okay, so around that time frame. So I saw it. I didn't really do a review last night. I said, you want? I'll give you some time. I'll do my review a little bit later, so you all can get the chance to see it today, which is it's out in theaters. Um, I have to give James Gunn credit. This is actually pretty good. I enjoyed it. This is arguably one of my favorite DC films that's came out. It's probably behind Man of Steel because it's Shazam, Man of Steel. Um, then it's this one, then Wonder Woman, then Wonder Woman. Uh, Justice League, the Zack Snyder cut is right around that frame too. Now some people be like, well, if you count the whole DCU, if you talk about DC films in general, this would probably still be in the top 10. Probably in the top 10, not the top five, but the top 10. But we're not talking about that. But this was enjoyable. Um, I really it wasn't too long. It was a little too short, but it wasn't too long. I mean, I enjoyed it. Whoever edited this film needs to start editing all their films because this is how you edit films. It has a smooth transition. I mean, there was times where they kept going back like 8 minutes early or 3 days early or something like that. At that kind of bugged me after a while. But then again, I'm not Zack Snyder, James Gunn style, and I thought I was okay. There's stuff going around. People review bombing the film because it's not in the setting as that. I'm like, I don't think they are doing that. I don't see too many Zack Snyder fans review bombing the film. I think the media is making that narrative that they're review bombing, and it's not really review bombing. People actually like it. I don't know how the audience score is, but I think a lot of Zack Snyder fans like the film, and a lot of people don't blame James Gunn for the bullshit. It's Warner Brothers. Um, but overall, this was good. Um, from the cast, let's start. We'll go in the whole row because we got everybody in this whole picture. So let's start with Mister Peacemaker. You can't see me, John Cena. Um, pretty good. I don't see why he got a spinoff because the breakout character to me was Ratcatcher and probably Polka Dot Man. Those two, especially Polka Dot Man, you hear his backstory, it's like, oh, okay. And then you think to yourself, well, let me not get too invested into this shit because you never know. Yeah. He was good. I see why he's getting a spinoff. I don't know if it's pretty much saying it's gonna be an origin film, so this is gonna be taking place before the Suicide Squad. So I'm like, okay. Harley Quinn, good in the film, but didn't have that much to do. Like the screen time she had in this film compared to she had in the first film is totally different. Like she's in there, but not really in there. Like the Suicide Squad do their own thing, and then she does her thing, and then they eventually meet, which is kind of funny, and it's pretty cool. Bloodsport, played by Mr. Alba. I thought I was going to hate him because he was going to come off as a Deadpool ripoff, which he kind of is, but he comes to his own character. And as a matter of fact, I like his character a hell of a lot more than Deadpool. I'm not Deadpool. Excuse me, Deadshot. So he's a lot more better than Deadshot. So I'm like, okay, cool. All right. King Shark. Um, King Shark is a shark. He was good. With the scenes he was CGI at times was kind of like okay, but for the most part, looked good. Like I said, the rat catcher over there, probably the breakout character in this whole thing. Um, yes, just she was one of those characters. Captain Boomerang, nice to see Mr. John Courtney back. Probably one of John Courtney's best performances ever. He's another one that surprised me. I didn't think he'd come back, and he came back, and man, It's weird because I want to spoil stuff, but I don't want to spoil it. But I mean, let's just say a lot of characters you thought who were going to survive don't survive. Um, Mongo in the back. If you know the DC lore, she was going to be a throwaway character anyway. Um, the man with the staff, I forgot his name. He was okay. Uh, long hair. Uh, well, if you know, if there's ever a James Gunn film, his ass will be in it because he's always in the film. Uh, moving on. Rick Flag, another surprising character. Actually, this is actually Joe Kittleman's, I think, best performance I've seen him done. Like literally, I love him in here. I think he was the best. His best. This is his best performance he's done. Hell, more so than the first one. Like I said, Polka Dot Man. He was another standout. Uh, but it was just fun. This whole thing was so much fun that I will probably watch it again. Um, and I'm going everywhere with this. My rating for the film as of right now, I'm looking at a I don't know. I'm looking like I'm looking at a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it. The last Suicide Squad film, it was about like a 6 or 5 for me. This one is 7 out of 10. This feels like a Suicide Squad film. This actually feels like if you watch Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, it feels like that a little bit, like it's its own thing. Or even if you watch Batman Assault on Arkham, those animated films, it feels like its own thing. The problem with the Suicide Squad, the first film, it didn't feel like its own. It felt like it was, it just didn't make sense to me. Like, why are they protecting the world? Now, this shit makes sense because in this story, the government did something and they're trying to cover it up, and that's what they call the task force. Makes sense. Perfect sense. Going to a different country, knowing that the heroes will never do this. Like, heroes is like, I'm not doing this shit. You made your own mess, you lie in it. But these villains, oh yeah, you're doing it because you want time off your sentence. Makes perfect sense. Love the concept. Loved it. And this doesn't feel like a Guardians. I mean, compared to Guardians is a space opera type of thing, and it's more fantastical, and they're not really criminals. These straight up criminals. There's no redeeming qualities about them. I mean, towards the end, they do something redeemable, but it's like still the criminals, you know. But I enjoyed it. The R rating did help the film. It helped it a lot. I think that's what people wanted because this should have been what the first one should have been. And now, since the help of Joker, Deadpool, and all these R rating films that did so well, now I think people are realizing that we can do R rating and get away with it, or we can do it now and fans can enjoy it, which is that's what it's supposed to be. Um, but yeah, as always, guys, like, subscribe, peace, have a Johnson day. Tell me what you thought about is the Suicide Squad.